Hello, everyone. Mike Mosquito with the Buzz Podcast, along with my wonderful co-host Maureen.
Nylene.
And today we're in the Nordic offices with the CCO of ClearSense, Lynn Wyrick.
How you doing?
Glad to be here with you.
Likewise.
These beautiful offices. This is part 2 of an interview that we started yesterday with Jason Rose, the CEO of ClearSense. So we're digging in a little deeper to what's happening over at the ClearSense office. And you're here this week at UGM. What brought you guys up here to the event first?
Yeah, well, so first of all, we've got this partnership with Nordic. It's been in place for a while, and it's really gaining steam. So it was great to be part of the Nordic event last night.
Definitely.
And, we're talking to CIOs and CEOs and CFOs of health systems. And we're hearing some very consistent things. And, we've got more meetings like that booked. So that's our main reason why we're here, in the whole Epic universe.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And by consistent things, you mean there's an abundance of money that's flowing to health systems right now, and they just can't figure out how to spend it all, right?
Yeah, don't they wish that was the issue? Yeah.
All right, so what is it really like out there?
Yeah, so that's kind of a captain obvious thing to talk about, but based on recent federal mandates, there's a $1 trillion gut punch that is going to be taking away Medicaid funding and Medicare funding. And as we talk to everywhere from CFO to CEOs, and that pressure trickles down to the CIOs, there's a lot of pressure to find ways to replace that revenue, as well as cut cost and be as streamlined as possible. And it's very consistent that is a strategig focus.
Yeah.
Are you leading with that financial message in your marketplace of customers today? And are you going back to those current customers and going, hey, we've already been working with you. We think we can do more and we can dig deeper?
Yeah, I love that question. So first of all, we've got a few of our consider them our most thought-leading customers that have partnered with us and have really attacked the way that we help systems take out cost in a very strategic and longitudinal way, and have already kind of proven the recipe and achieved a lot. And then we certainly have then gone back to other customers and said, hey, we'd like to apply this soup recipe to you. We can accelerate your ability to take this cost out. We're talking about condensing what might have taken 5 years to get that cost out down to things like 1 year, 1.5 years. And it's a massive difference. And we have a lot of our customers adopting that, and we're definitely taking that message out to the market.
That's fantastic. Okay, so I want to go back to something Jason said yesterday, and I might get the figures wrong, so feel free to correct me.
All right.
But he was saying for every $1 million that you save a health system, that translates roughly into $40 million in revenue that you don't have to bring in.
All right. So yes, with the qualifier.
Okay, I love this.
So what it is, you have to, whatever the operating margin is, dictates what that difference is going to be. But it is very true. So if the average health system, a nonprofit out there, is running at around 4.5% operating margin. Okay. I'm going to use 4% because it's slightly easier math.
I love that. That's what he did yesterday, and thank you, because math's not my strong suit.
All right. I have a CFO that feeds me these numbers. It helps. So at 4% operating margin, for every $1 million in OpEx costs that you can take out, that's the equivalent of replacing $25 million in revenue. So we have a kind of a smaller one of our customers, about 8 hospitals. We're helping them condense what was a longer term roadmap down to just 1 year. And that will save them over $10 million in the first year from this program.
That is incredible.
And you multiply that and you get to $250 million in revenue replacement.
Wow. And then it just kind of feeds itself, is what Jason was saying. That's lovely.
Yep.
Is this a roadmap that you take your customers through, how to give them that optic of their finances today and what it could look like in the future?
Absolutely, and it's a reason that the Nordic partnership is so valuable as well. Nordic has great skill sets, and what we've kind of co-developed with Nordic is this very light touch way that we can go work with a client, and within about 3 weeks, the client only has to spend 1 to 3 hours with us, providing us some internal information, and within around a 3-week turnaround, we can provide them something with directional accuracy that shows them the size of the opportunity, and often, most of the time, it's in the tens of millions.
Within 3 weeks.
And so we provide that analysis, and then once we all kind of agree that there's a there, then we start working it, and then over a period of multiple weeks, we can put the program in place And again, we're typically taking out tens of millions within a 1 year, 1.5 year kind of a time frame.
That's incredible. So what reaction are you getting from the CIOs? We were here last night. I'd love to know some of the feedback.
Yeah, so first of all, a thing we have found is that, CIOs work in the realm of technology, not in finance necessarily.
Yes.
Right.
And so, one, helping educate them around this principle and giving them the tools they need to have that meaningful financial conversation with, say, the CFO, because you can get more budget now to take out this significant CapEx, and it really makes such a difference. And so I was talking to a particular CIO last night who is working with us on this program, and she's really enthused, and for the first time she helped us pull in the finance side of the house.
Oh,
And it was really great because a finance person validated all the stuff that we had worked with her and validated what the opportunity is. So
I love that.
and so that's kind of a typical trajectory for us right now. One thing I'd like to highlight too is that people have done application archiving for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there tends to be kind of two challenges. Challenge number one is the legacy approach to archiving is very project based.
Yes, I would agree.
And so what ends up happening is they might archive 9, 10, 11 apps in a year. So archiving is typically going on. But what we're able to do, because we have a much more modernized approach and our technology, is we're able to go in and take a timeline that would therefore take, say, 5 years to take a certain amount of cost out, and we can compress it down to 1 year. That has a compounding effect in the positive,
Right.
because you would have otherwise kept spending on apps year after year after year. We're going to get rid of all that OpEx. And so not only, let's just say for the sake of argument, a set of applications, 50 applications, was carrying a cost of $6 million, right? So of course I take the $6 million out whenever I take those apps out.
Sure.
But by condensing that $6 million down to 1 year instead of 5, just ballpark, and I know these numbers because I'm doing this exact study with a customer right now, it's an additional 10 million. That's where I got that number from. And so the total cost takeout in the first year for that program is 16 million.
Yeah.
And the 10 million is the extra that they got. And what we're seeing in the market is most health plans aren't tuned to do it that way, and legacy vendors aren't tuned to do it that way.
Are you training their CFOs?
You should be.
Are you training a CFO a different way to look at their operation that will coincide with the needs of the CIO?
Yeah, so I would say the quick answer to that I would say is a yes. I would qualify it by saying what we're really doing is we're bringing this premise to the CFO and the CEO. And that's really important because right now CFOs, COOs, CEOs in particular, they're trying to solve for this very big financial challenge that they face. And most of them, when they think of that, they don't say, hey, there's that boring thing we do called archiving. And we've got this way of doing it, and we take out 9 apps a year. They're just not thinking of it that way.
Right.
So what we're doing is we're getting in front of CEOs and CFOs in particular and laying out this model and having them validate it.
Got it.
Right? And so it's less education, it's more validation. It's pretty simple math. And so once you show them that it is possible to approach this, all of a sudden archiving becomes less boring and more strategic. And instead of sitting on buried risk and financial tech debt,
Right.
you're sitting on buried treasure. And we help to convert that.
Oh, that is lovely. What I love about what you're saying is that you're just really doing the work that you should be doing in a way that can make you not necessarily more profitable, but less indebted to systems that don't provide any value.
Exactly.
And that's where I think the rubber really meets the road for these health systems. Let's get the stuff that you don't need, as I said yesterday, out of the closet, and let's focus on the things that you really are truly using. Even if you don't need to replace it with anything else, there's no value in it sitting there. It's just risky.
And it adds cyber risk, for example.
That is such a great point. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, and so, you've got all these systems sitting around, and one thing I know Jason talked about yesterday is zombie apps. I feel like I should look at the camera because I know he did. Zombie apps are a real thing, and they are killing your business. But zombie apps that's the type of app that are very minimally used, Sometimes they're bought by shadow IT organizations. They're not run by corporate,
Yeah.
and they're sitting around. Those applications are the very most likely to be out of their patches, out of support. They represent huge cyber risk as
Yeah.
entry points.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And they also, because they're the smaller apps, we tend to be able to archive and decommission them much more rapidly. And this is another thing we talk to CFOs about. Sometimes because they're smaller individually, they're kind of ignored. But when you add them up together, they can also make a significant financial impact as well as reducing that cyber risk.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
And that cyber risk, again, you're addressing the financial aspects, the IT and infrastructure aspects, and now hitting cyber. The CISO is now involved.
Yeah.
And all of them in concert have to be on the same page. One, with this new economic downturn that they're going to see, and with what's going to come their way with these apps and cybersecurity that they've got to defend against. You got to have money to defend it.
Exactly.
It's an everyday, all-day affair. And so it's good to hear that you're tying those metrics together to say, we've got to meet this bar of success every day while we keep moving the dial forward for the organization.
Right. And I'll tell you a trick I've seen some of our customers do. I call it a trick, but it's I can take the dollars that I'm saving, and some of that goes back to the health system, and it helps with profitability, etc. I also maybe get to keep a little of it. One of my large customers completely funded 100% their Epic rollout
Oh my gosh.
from the cost savings of our program. That's their words, not ours. That's how they reported to their board.
That's incredible.
I know another customer that claims that they saved 100 clinician positions from the cost savings, and I know yet another one, they're applying some of that cost savings to AI initiatives.
Right.
So they're getting funding while making the organization more profitable.
And you're just, again, you're getting rid of the things that nobody really wants or is
Right.
using. So it's not, it's the value is there. You just need to uncover it in a way that's meaningful.
Right. And again, instead of treating it like something that just kind of streams along in the background, really getting strategic about it.
Yeah.
And you asked me about what CIOs are saying.
Yeah.
And something you said just reminded me of another comment I made. And this is the other thing that sometimes holds back systems' desire to archive more rapidly. And it is the usage of the data. If you're an end user, a clinical user, for example, and you know that that data is sitting in that other system, it's like, don't turn off my system, I want that data.
Right.
And
they are very protective of
Exactly.
that. Yes.
And I know you've seen that in your background.
Yes, and I have been that person, but that's a whole other story. Keep going.
So I was talking to the CIO last night, and she said that's one of the biggest constraints at my health system, is that archiving's kind of this dirty word because the end users know it to mean you're going to turn off my system.
Right.
And why does archive data have to be so difficult to use? And that's the other thing that with a more modernized platform that we really pride ourselves on, is that we make the data highly usable, single unified patient views.
Yes.
No matter how many source systems the data came from, John Smith, the patient, shows up in the live EHR system at the point of care, full history from no matter what system they're coming from.
Radio.
And it actually enables the end users in ways they weren't enabled when they had to go to all these different disparate legacy systems.
That makes
so
sense.
it's a really, so you were talking about the different constituent groups. The end users, HIM, clinical, finance, business, they also get to benefit from this.
And it's a holistic approach, right? And you want to have your whole house in order when you're making this type of financial shift.
Exactly.
And you're doing your cleanup, maintenance, and move forward strategy.
Yeah.
And you got to fund all that.
Right.
Because it takes money and effort to decommission.
Right, absolutely. And it is transformative. And that's another reason we really like partnering with Nordic, because they're really good at that part of it.
Yes.
They come in and put the governance in place that helps drive this machine, and they help with the transformation, and they wrap that around what we do, and it just kind of puts the whole thing on steroids, and it's how we're really seeing maximum velocity.
What's your shortest conversion and transformation time frame that you've ever put in for a client?
Well, so if I'm doing it per app, I mean, it depends on the app. There's a lot of parameters, but we're able to decommission applications within, 6 weeks to a couple of months, where we've seen competitors take many more months than that per app. But what's probably more important to the answer is running in parallel at scale. And that's what is the real differentiator in our approach and our technology. And so, at some of our bigger customers, we're literally archiving 100 to 150 applications per year.
Wow.
And
Wow.
like at one of the, we come in, they had a legacy approach type vendor. This particular customer was able to archive 6 applications in a 2-year time frame against a roadmap of trying to archive 500.
Oh.
And then
That's not uncommon, though.
it's
And
extreme.
sadly, that
It
is
still
usually
has-
the
It's like-
state of the
it's like the
state,
norm.
rather it being, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And by the way, in case anyone's curious, there's a Gartner case study on what I'm talking about. You can go Google Gartner. But yeah, then in a 4-year period, applying our methods, we've helped them decommission over 750 applications in a 4-year time frame.
Congratulations.
So, that's what's possible.
Yeah.
And that's the message that we're really working with. And really, we as an organization have gotten much better at tying it to the financials and being able to provide this initial analysis so people can really understand, is there an opportunity? And if so, what is it?
When you talk about that also, when you say offering that opportunity, do you ever get to speak to the board of a facility, of a health system, or you ever called into that type of setting?
Yeah, wow. That's we aren't in most of our locations, but again, at a couple of our most progressive clients, we are number one. We're on their M&A committee. This is a very active entity within M&A, and a thing that they do that is so smart and so strategic is you put the archiving and decommissioning of the duplicative apps you're going to inherit from an acquisition into the M&A thesis. So you've already calculated in the cost takeout, and what it does is it accelerates and magnifies the value you're getting from an M&A in the first place, and then it becomes a very top-down exercise because now we have to take out the 30 million from these apps, and it comes downhill, and it gets it done.
Wow.
So at that particular client, we sit on their M&A panel, and we also are in their quarterly board report meetings as well.
Very nice.
So so it's really driven from the top, and that's where we see this being the most successful as well.
Very nice.
That was a great question, Mike.
Yeah.
I
I've
wouldn't
done
have
this
even.
once or twice.
It's not his first rodeo. It isn't. Okay, so let's pivot just a little bit and go back to that change management aspect because Kevin talked about that yesterday. And I do believe that this is one area where, as you said, Nordic shines because you are moving other people's cheese. And that is, I want to highlight that a little bit more because all of this is great, but there is that starting step that is taken prior where you are now working with those folks. You aren't just simply coming in and laying the hammer down and saying this is the way it's going to be. It's really a partnership.
It has to be very collaborative, and so there's kind of the very front end piece that Nordic does really well. Well, there's a couple pieces on the front. It first comes with really understanding that inventory of duplicative apps and what is a target for decommission, what's the priority, what's the cost ramification, and actually putting that together so that we have targets to go after. Then from there, a very important thing, and a lot of health systems just don't have the staff or the expertise to do this next part, and that's all the governance. And that gets to what you were saying, Maureen, where it's getting the various constituent groups to stack hands, be good with the plan, sign up for it, and run all that governance through, which also includes keeping the metrics so that this entity can go to their board quarterly and say, we've taken out 12 million, now we've taken out 18 million, et cetera, right? That's just such an important part to make this successful. And that for us, it's really good because it feeds our machine. Our machine has unlimited scale, and so the more apps that entity can give us, the more rapidly we can all take out the cost together. And then it kind of gets ended off with Nordic really being good at transformation.
Yes.
And helping make sure that the clinical users, everyone's happy as we migrate to a more simplified view of the data.
Stacking of the hands, that's the hardest part to achieve.
Absolutely.
If you can do that, then you can make the money happen.
That's right.
You can realize that value rather quickly.
Yep.
It's usually a Pied Piper needed for that to happen.
Yeah.
Yes,
These obviously
that's so true.
massive entities, multi-billion in most cases.
Yeah.
And lots of departments and lots of providers and
Lots of opinions.
yeah, absolutely.
And everyone's heart is in the right place.
That's right.
At the end of the day, they really are. And so just recognizing the value of that data to someone.
Right.
It was there for a reason. And it's not only there for them, but also for the patient. So you're giving everyone the access that they need in order to be successful.
Yeah. And what I'm really happy happy about at this point, because what I'm about to say was not true 4 years ago.
Okay.
We have a tried and true recipe.
Very nice.
We
I
have
love
plugged
that.
it in. It has worked. You know, we've got clients who can speak to it. We've got folks like Gartner doing case studies on it. It's real, and so, you know, it's a solution that we can talk about, deliver on, and really partner with organizations so that, you know, they've got skin in that game too.
Right.
It's not just our numbers, it becomes their numbers.
Right. And that's what you want. You want a team effort, partnership when you're going down this path, because the change management is ever important. Someone's going to be upset. So they've got to be able to have that message of, here's why we're doing this. Here's the mission at hand. Here are the outcomes. This partners, they've done this before. They know how to do it. They've proven it to us, and we've spoken to references to show that they know how to do it. So I commend you for being able to go down this path and help with a future state problem that a lot of other institutions are going to run into. This is coming their way fast.
It's come. That was the words in my mind. It's coming fast.
And some aren't they're gonna get caught short-handed and short-staffed and under developed in this plan. So I hope you're able to get this message across to as many customers as possible and promote what you're doing, because I think it's worthwhile with what's coming our way in our health systems.
Absolutely.
Well, Micah Marine, I think you're helping me get the message in front of as many people as possible.
That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
We thank you for joining us today
All
on
right.
the
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
It's been great. I'd
Hey.
like to thank Nordic for hosting us and having Glenn on with us today. Their partnership is ever important to the ecosystem of healthcare. And we here at The Buzz look forward to hearing and seeing you subscribe on our channels. And until next time, Maureen and Mike could say, keep buzzing. She almost got me.